for this. 1, 2. Impact the scholars with this. My scholarship can never.
What's going on? Welcome to the episode of Foresight. This your boy Arden talking to you, and of course, it's only right. I got my brother AK across from me.
Yeah.
You already know me, rocking boy. Episode 70. We are recording this on Thursday, January 24th, 2019. And we are doing this in Manhattan on the Upper West Side. That's right, we out here traveling and recording. And we hope all is well with you. First things first, you already know what you got to do. You got to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at ForesightPod. Make sure you check out the YouTube. We are back on YouTube. Look up Foresight. We have full-length episodes on with reaction videos. Guess who just recorded a new reaction video? Yours truly to J. Cole's latest record. And make sure you are listening to us, reviewing, and subscribing to the podcast. We appreciate your support. So far, the boys have been cooking up in 2019. AK, my brother, we missed you last week. How's everything?
Everything's good. Everything is good. Y'all niggas hold it down.
I know. We had to. We had to. Shout out to Fudge, by the way. OG, bro. Like, he really came down and gave us some great advice. Just good for, once again, Westchester to always link up. Fudge has been doing his thing on SRL Daily at Westchester Community College broadcasting. And it was some very good stuff, man. I ain't gonna front, bro. I'm pretty tired.
Look, for me, working for the... I had to switch my schedule though for this to make this happen. So like a lot of my my work hours kind of got a little bit more than it was usually. So I'm tired as well myself. Honestly. But hey, we out here.
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I've been subbing the last 2 days, and what was funny was I had a 9th grade English class that I was subbing for earlier.
I just gotta ask, man, like how they really we ain't give no respect to substitute teachers, bro.
Of course, in a public school, like that's all day. No disrespect. No disrespect. You walk in the classroom, you go, "Oh, word, Miss So and So not here. I'm out." But it's at a private school, bro. It's at an IDE private school where the parents are paying $50,000 a year.
Gotcha.
You're not gonna leave this classroom.
Gotcha.
At all. There's no reason for you to leave. And I had this 9th grade English class. It was a class that I've subbed before.
Yeah.
And it was a good class, but some of those, rich kids, they try to be sneaky. So sneaky's like, all right, you're going to be on that AirPods, but they're probably going to look at me and be like, I smell broke. They're going to go talk whatever. They swear they know SoundCloud rap, by the way. They swear, bro. They all talk about, yo, bro, you ever heard of so-and-so, man? I'm like, yo, he's trash. Focus on your work. You try to listen to SoundCloud rap. Yeah. But freaking, and there was old girl who finished her work, quote unquote. She's watching Netflix. So I emailed the teacher, and shout out to the teacher, man. I'm not going to say no names. He was a brother out here doing his thug thizzle. Yeah. And I email him and I tell him, like, hey, your classes were good, but for future reference, if these kids are doing such and such, what should I do? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Those kids going to get in trouble, man. Yeah, they are. He was tight. Right. And they got the dean in the email. Oh. Bruh, they going to get tight. But they not gonna know it's me because I ain't no snitch. But it ain't gonna be me. No. It ain't gonna be me. But on episode 70, we have 2 special guests on the show. These are 2 guys that I can go way back with in terms of when looking at hip hop media and looking at creation of music. They are beyond solidified. I remember I think my favorite interview from you guys was almost 5 summer jams ago. It was a perfect interview with Childish Gambino. Wow. And these 2, they have this great intro they do where it's like, yo, what's up, this is Aaron, yo, what's up, this is AK, and it goes on for maybe like a smooth 40 seconds. And then Gambino goes, hey, what's up, Childish Gambino. and just besides that, these guys have interviewed really anybody that's anybody, from the OGs to the top stars to everybody. Teddy Bear Fresh, dope album. I remember hearing that. And of course, they come from Westchester. Yeah. Shout out here. Also known as ItsTheReal. What's going on, guys?
What's happening? Yo, thank you guys for coming to the Upper West Side.
No problem. Of course.
We appreciate it. No, really, we do appreciate this. We know we switched this around a couple times. We have some things, but thank you guys for coming through.
No problem. Yeah. Hey, it's helpful that AK's from the Bronx, and I'm just like a city person at heart. Yeah. So I was like, okay. I mean, that's my everyday life.
Exactly. I thought you meant so you weren't gonna black on us, just go crazy.
No, man. We was gonna make this happen. Yeah. And the reason why I always wanted to talk to you guys is just because of the fact that, for one, it's crazy to think you guys are literally like veterans over 10 years.
Crazy.
In the culture.
Yeah. Crazy. For real. And that's what really surprised me the most, because I know y'all mainly for like the podcasting stuff.
Yeah.
So when I finally gonna be like, the interviewing y'all, I'm like, I go back, I'm like, yo, these niggas had mad skits, bro. The albums, I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, they really been out here like grinding for a good minute.
We're old.
Yeah. And it's just crazy because it's like, again, I actually rewatched again, interview.
Yeah.
And it was like, even just that, like, it's crazy. Like, that's like 5 years ago.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's weird to think. So, we never went to college and majored in this stuff. This is like you find yourself doing things and then you switch up and then you think you have a good idea and you keep going and you suddenly end up 11, 12 years into this and you're just like, how in the world did we do this? And we just moved, right?
Yeah.
We moved for the first time in our career. We lived in the same apartment for 11 and a half years.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about doing a post, I know you were too, on Instagram when we moved. And I was trying to go through and I was trying to like be succinct about like what this apartment meant and all the work that we've done and all the people who have come through. Yeah. We had like when Joe and Tahiri were dating, like we had them up for like skits on the couch and hanging out. And we've had everybody. Mano, Bun,
Nori,
Ty Dolla $ign, Angie, Misinfo,
when they say
Cardi.
everybody, they mean everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
it's a funny metric. But
somebody came over. Like we had a guy who was helping us with like photos and stuff. Yeah. And he was like, "Do you know how many famous people have like used your bathroom?" We were like, "No, I've never thought about that."
But
I would write about that.
But there have been a lot of people who came over to that apartment and a lot of great work done in a very small space. And it wasn't just us at a desk. This was us being creative and using like anything and everything that we had. Friends, we would use curtains to like make the walls a certain color. We would run around the city, but we always came back. We edited, we shot, we created, and to look back at all that work now and know that it still resonates, that it's still funny, that it's still cool, and that we're still out here almost 12 years into a career and more poppin' than ever is wild. And we'd never even imagined that we would be like in the place that we're at right now.
Even myself, I'm looking back. I looked at. I saw the what's it called again? I say I want DD something. What's the word again?
D-Dot?
Not D-Dot. It was deconstructing. I saw
Deconstructing Biggie. Yeah.
My favorite one, I saw deconstructing Keisha. I saw the road.
Oh man,
I saw the road. Like Wake Up Feeling like P Diddy. And the
crazy
Sean joke. I was like, nah. Keep wilding. It was hilarious. It was good. Like y'all really have been.
We're at the point now where we find that videos that we put up like 10, 12 years ago, whatever, have been deleted because certain people like claim certain things like audio or whatever. But it's just like, I really want to watch that video and it's like doesn't exist anymore. Wait,
Deconstructing Kesha isn't up anymore?
No, that is
that's
up.
Okay,
that's up. Yeah. But there's some where it's just like people make claims. Yeah.
Well, it's like weird, like and it's like I'm not spending time watching any of these, and so like every once in a while I'll get like a notification being like Vimeo has deleted this thing. I'm just like, what? Like I haven't thought about this video in like 10 years.
I haven't thought about Vimeo in 10 years.
Yeah. That is nuts.
Yeah.
And quick question before we really get into this episode: how are you guys even able to convince the biggest of celebrities to come over to your home?
Oh. Well, now it's easy.
Yeah.
Now people understand.
Well, no, I mean, like, there have been, like, ups and there have been downs. Like, they're like, we started off, doing these sketches, and the sketches caught on real fast, and so people wanted to be on, and there was, like, Joe, Cameron, all these people, they wanted to be part of it. There are certain times when you're doing things and people just, it's like you've been at this for 7 years, and they're like, eh.
Like, so... We were outsiders. We grew up in Westchester. You know what that's like. Like it's not being.
We're not upstate.
No, it's not upstate. Upstate starts after the Tappan Zee. So
say something else.
Yeah. Also,
not if you say we upstate again.
Also, we're not Long Island. Okay, we're not in the North Shore, the South Shore of Long Island. We did a gig out at this place called Governors, a comedy club in Long Island, and afterwards everyone lines up and they like sign stuff or they buy stuff, they would take pictures, whatever. Yeah. And these people walked up, these girls, and they were just like, "Are you from around here?" We're like, "No, we're from Westchester." And they looked at us with a straight face. "Where is that?" And we said,
"Damn,
you like walk right across the
there,
it's right there."
Right
that
if you live in certain parts of the Bronx,
yeah.
You literally could cross the street and you're in Westchester.
Yeah.
Take the beeline.
I know.
Yeah.
But so for us, we grew up outside of it. We love this culture so much, and there's we come to the city every so often. Our aunt lived down here. You try to be a part of like the scene and
Tell me about it.
Prom, you're going to like all these clubs. You're going to like see Flex spin. You're going to go see Green Lantern spin. You're going to see whoever, right? Yeah. But like again, you're not living in the city. You're 30 minutes north. Yeah. So moving down here was a big thing for us, and we'd already started our sketches back up in Westchester. Yeah. We were living at our parents' place. We were out of college. We were just making this stuff from our bedrooms with all of our friends. But then you moved to the city, and that was like something different. That was like, we're still outsiders, but all these people are seeing us out in real life at SOBs or at like a Nas show or just walking down the street, and they're like, oh my God, you guys exist.
Yeah.
And so then we're able to be like, cool. And because we showed our face, because we weren't like saying something snarky on Twitter and hiding, because we weren't just like afraid of any consequences, because we showed our faces, we're out there, we're meeting people, everyone's like, yo, I want to be a part of that. So you meet people like Bun and Cam and Joe and Nori and
Mac Miller and whoever else.
Yeah. And all those people then become something and make you something. So all of a sudden, time goes by and you've gone from an outsider to right inside of the circle.
Yeah. So like everybody that we would start like, making jokes about, you can't make those same jokes anymore once you're like friends with everybody, because a lot of people can't take those jokes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we switched up. We did a bunch of different things. We did a podcast very early on. We started rapping and like every time we would interview somebody, they'd be like, well, what else can we do? Like, we want to do more with you guys.
Yeah,
and
like
so,
Miguel was just like, do you do music? And we're like, we sure do. Can we send you a song? And like Currency would be like, I want to get on something. We're like, all right. And it goes on. And then you start like just pushing the limit and seeing how far you can go creatively. And so, you get to this point in your career where, we saw the TV show, and while that was going through legal mumbo jumbo, it was suggested to us that we start a podcast. So when we did that, because we like working from home, because we there's a different environment. You know what it is. Being in a recording studio is one thing. It could be cold. It could be like,
well, meaning like not like physically cold, just like the feeling of like this very
It's not comfortable.
Small space.
Yeah. So we were like, well, let's invite people into our home, and it's a sacrifice. You got to clean. You got to make it right. You got to make sure that like. The
Migos don't bring over 45 people.
And I was just about to say that. People coming over, people possibly stealing.
You never know. You never know. And will the neighbors have an issue with you? Will the landlord have an issue with it? Like, there's all this stuff. But at first, when we started out this podcast, Waste of Time with It's The Real, almost 4 years ago, there's a matter of will people make it all the way up to the Upper West Side? It's not in Midtown. It's not by MTV. It's not downtown by Hot 97 or Power 105.
We're just two guys in an apartment. Like, we're not. It's not like Complex Presents. It's not like MTV Presents or whoever else. Like, we're literally two guys who operate on our own.
And that was a big sales job. And there were publicists back then who said, my client will not go up there. And it's like, all right. No. And here's what our whole career has been. It's overcoming people saying no. Our whole career, and maybe our whole lives. There's a chip on your shoulder. Someone says no. Cool. Yep. I'm going to overcome that. I'm going to go around. I'm going to think of a different way. I'm going to make this happen. And so you build. You work with friends at first. Yeah. Smoke Dizza, Bodega Bams, Alchemist, whoever. And then you build on top of that, and eventually it gets to a point where like
Hassan Minaj is coming over.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
and wants to come over.
Right.
Like not, like thank you. And so it's cool now. Now it's like...
I do want to say, the only reason that I bring up people's names is so that you guys say, that was a great
episode. That's it.
Let's see. The count is at one. The count is at one.
Yeah.
And just to continue going into this, again, coming up from Westchester, again, the three of us can relate to this in terms of, in down New York State, we are made to be the outsiders. We are made to be living with a perception about us that's not necessarily true. Because I tell people all the time, like, I loved and love living in Westchester. Because living in Westchester, you really get the best of everything. I have seen and lived in the suburbs while living in the hood, while living in great downtown areas. It's like in certain parts of, like, let's say White Plains. Yeah. I live in downtown White Plains basically uphill from the train station.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You live at the Lazy Boy Saloon.
Yes. Westchester Mall. So I'm able to go into downtown, buy my Marin Cab, Main Street.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got a homie that literally for 5 minutes, I could be by White Plains High School.
Yeah.
And possibly even further than Scarsdale.
Yeah.
So it's like that beauty of it, just seeing everything. And just to clarify, where exactly from Westchester you guys from?
We're from Harrison.
Harrison. Okay, right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean, we also did like live in White Plains for like a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we grew up in Harrison. We went to Purchase Elementary School, we went to Lewis M. Klein Middle School, we went to Harrison High School, so public
Harrison,
school
yeah.
and Harrison, we're Harrison through and through. Go Huskies.
The bounce guys are trying to keep up right now.
Yeah.
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 You know where I play land?
Yeah.
You know where I play land?
I think, yeah, I know.
Okay, we're good. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I got
that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
I know.
AK goes, who?
I know, yeah.
There's going to come a moment where I may need you to hop on the 60 bus. So go from the Bronx all the way to White Plains, which goes to Eastchester
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of places.
It's fine.
Yeah, but you got to get on the PA and be like, all right, on your left.
Yeah,
Yeah, on your
yeah,
left,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is New Rock City right now.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow. Click, 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 click.
But growing up in Westchester for you guys, what were some of your earliest hip hop memories? And along with that, how was it like taking in the hip hop scene in Westchester? Because you guys grew up at a time where, besides before the Locks, it was Heavy D representing Money Mount Vernon,
Yeah.
Pete Rock representing as well, and
Yep.
then it was the Locks, and then it was DMX in '98.
Yeah.
How was it like for you?
Well, so
I also want to be clear, we're not that
yeah, I
old.
was just gonna say.
But still, though,
The heavy D stuff, like we respect, we love Pete Rock, all of that.
And we were alive.
right.
Yeah,
but that wasn't like the Locks,
Okay.
DMX, Rough Riders, Swiss Beats, Dragon. That was everything for us.
Yeah.
Eve.
shout out to
Every time that like DMX would get arrested, he would come through our court system in Harrison.
Yeah.
And so like all the kids would ditch school and go see DMX.
See that.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And
But-
he used to like he used to buy. There's a model like train store like right around the corner from
model
there.
cars,
Model cars and
Yeah,
model
yeah,
trains
yeah,
and stuff. And
yeah.
so he would buy pizza at the pizza shop right next to there, and he would hang out at the. He loves model cars and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
So, but for us, there wasn't like a local thing before really like the Locks were representing like for us, right?
Yeah.
Or Swiss and the rest of Rough Riders. But that was a big thing because and anytime you heard like Lil' Kim say like speeding down the hutch, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's us,
Yeah.
Like here, Yonkers ball.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it felt like, oh, that's close, and
Yeah.
like on the school bus, like the bus driver would play
Down
down
bottom.
bottom, and it's just like that's a thing,
Yeah, it's also not appropriate probably for like
It's
a,
not,
yeah.
definitely not. Definitely
But-
My man's just trying to get through the day.
right. but it was great, and it felt great, and so for us, like a lot of my friends, you grow up in high school, and it's funny because like your friends, you grow up in elementary school, middle school, and then high school, and if you have the same group of friends, for the most part, it comes from just like location. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, our common bond is that we go to the same school and attend the same classes,
They're the same
right?
women and all that stuff.
You go to college, you come back, and it's just like, oh, like I've seen the world, or
Yeah,
I've seen something.
it
It's
feels
like
so different.
we don't have to be friends.
Yeah,
Like
it feels so
like
different.
oh, like and so you make those choices later on.
But all that to say that your friends in high school did not listen to rap.
They didn't like rap, right? I was the only one who loved rap. Like I was the only one who liked rap. Like they didn't come close to that. And so like,
Well, maybe like we're not old enough to be like, hey, we grew up on Pete Rock and Heavy D, but we are old enough to remember where there was a time when kids did not listen to hip hop.
Yeah.
Because like now it's like
It's
it's
everywhere.
impossible.
It's
not
Right.
to, yeah.
Hence, kids in my 7th class acting like they knew SoundCloud rap.
well,
Yeah.
and you know what's crazy about what you were saying before is that when you were saying like the kids were looking at you and making a judgment on like how much you earn or whatever.
Yeah.
I was thinking like I never had that thought, and no one ever said anything like about our teachers. We were never just like, oh, like that's what they drive, or like that's what they wear. It was just like I don't know. It was just like regular.
That was a pretty regular Bronx thing. I used to go to Mount St. Michael.
Yeah.
So
Good
Go
gym, by
Huskies.
the way. I was there a couple weeks ago, bro.
no.
Your gym is way bigger.
Wait, what's the best thing about their gym?
It's honestly, it's like an
It's
NCAA
spacious, yeah.
college gym.
Oh,
It's spacious.
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I went
oh.
there for a side note before AKO.
Damn.
I'll let you go. My bad, my brother, cut you off.
No problem.
I went for like a big high school basketball event where it was like some of the best schools in the country with some of the top 25 to 50 players in the country.
Wow.
I
It's a very
definitely
nice gym.
thought you were going to be like, oh, they have like 6 ellipticals or something. I was like, oh, that's dope.
That is mad spacious. But so like me growing up in the Bronx, like anytime like I would come used to have a dress down day, whatever. People would pay attention. Like, okay, yo, what kid that? Oh, you nigga came in here. Oh, that's the WTF LeBron's. Alright, I see you. Oh, the Galaxy phones. Alright. So that's how we kind of used to like judge whether
Oh, kids.
Yeah, like, no, not just
I'm
kids.
talking about the teachers.
I'm talking about the teachers. Like the kids will be looking at the teachers like that. Because some teachers, there'll be a few teachers that actually like kind of young, pretty much. You know,
some teachers got some sauce on them.
Exactly. They have some sauce. People respected them. You know, to be like, all right, then bet.
Yeah.
Let me see like what you got on.
Yeah.
All right. Got some fresh kicks on. Ah, you cool.
Oh no.
Put that on a nice car.
Yeah, I don't think we had any cool teachers.
No, God,
That's how it was.
Not at all. But so my friends like didn't care for rap. I was obsessed with it. I loved it and wanted to be, like in that world in any way that I could. Now, by the time, so there's 3.5 years age difference between the two of us, and so your friends,
we're definitely more open to it. I would say like my friends liked rap. Dan, my brother, and I like were twins. We like loved rap in a much more like overt way. And then like at a certain point you follow that.
Yeah, like I was saying, like you would read all the XXLs and you would read all the vibes and you would read all the source and then eventually like when the internet started sort of taking that wave, it was like I have to get on all hip hop and I have to get on SOHH, and then it moved until like XXL figured it out, and so that was your way in. So we're at home, after we graduated college, and we're checking all these websites and we're checking out all the Nah Right posts, and this is before like the rest of the New Music Cartel really got into operation, but like it's those early websites that you're like really like focused on. But when we were growing up, it was us and our friends, and we would rap, and we were listening, and we would like, we did our own mixtapes, and we would do things where it was like, this has to be our truth, right? Like you can't be out here. We're not killing anyone. We're not robbing anyone. We're not kidnapping anyone. No. And so it's just like, all right, well, what's our twist on it? And we can be true to ourselves and make our jokes and have it be inside or whatever, and still like do things properly, sample it this way, right? Yeah. And have our friends host mixtapes and do artwork and like burn the CDs and give them out to our friends. And
but you know how like TJ K. Slay had the Street Sweepers, and so we were the Purchase Street Sweepers.
Yeah, and we grew up on Purchase Street, so it's like and we stayed up at all hours at our best friend's studio because his father was a musician, and we just stayed up in that studio and made beats and rapped at all hours and went delusional at like 3 a.m. trying to come up with lyrics and for what? For free, for fun, for us.
Being able to express a different side of yourself. And you know what? That hit home to me because 5 years ago, I really had a stretch in my life where on this side, I was like dead ass rapping, bro. Like I was.
What was your rapping name?
No, I went by A&F like for my initials.
Yeah.
And I remember a good friend of mine. Shout out to my brother Vic, man. We were friends since middle school. So this was when I was living in Yonkers. I think once it was Enrico Fermi Middle School for the performing arts. Then I moved. Vic and I lost contact for almost 11 years.
Wow.
And then we reconnected. And I saw the fact that he was in the music. I'm like, bro, I didn't know he was in the music.
Yeah.
And he was getting good. And I remember this between 2011 and 2014, I was rapping on the side. And I had actually released a mixtape that got over 5,000 listens.
Wow.
That for me was super high.
Yeah.
I'm going to find that.
Tell that
No, you're not, bro.
Yeah.
SoundCloud, bro.
Tell that to your kids. Yeah.
And I had a dope mixtape name too, in my opinion. It was called Seriously the Mixtape. Seriously, the mixtape.
Seriously?
And my cover art was seriously spelled in ABC blocks. Different colors. I ain't gonna front, I was spazzing, bro. My 2-1 remix. Yo, Tinashe, you need a record.
Yo, this is like
honestly. I know you said like Tinashe needs a record. Like Tinashe needs a record. Tinashe needs a record. Yeah.
Yo, this is like when like Trump was like, to the Russians, like go find those 30,000 emails. This is like, hey, to the students out there, all those SoundCloud fans out there, go find that music.
All of it.
Sincerely, the mixtape.
Yeah, the world. Oh,
or seriously, the mixtape.
I thought you were signing off.
No,
sincerely, the world. Seriously, the mixtape.
I need that. It's about to be a project. But yeah, it's just it brought me back to that time because even on our last episode, we spoke about how even fandom is different. Like, I remember growing up and reading and buying XXL and buying the source and buying all of those things, and then I transitioned over to missinfo.tv. That literally was my first site that I went on to see things because Misinfo had everything.
Yep. For me, it was a little bit different because I remember, like, when you said New Music Cartel, I was like, I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, for me, I grew up on Two Dope Boys,
the
Nava, OK Player.
Yep.
Honestly, I was heavy. I was heavy on Two Dope Boys.
Yeah.
Heavy on that. Heavy on Two Dope Boys. Just like looking through, I'll pay more attention to that. More so than honestly, I would say like the XXL. But when it came to XXL, though, it'd be like, all right, bet. Then she's on the freshman cover. I paid more attention to like, all right, the freshman cover on XXL. And sometimes the show improved more than anything else. When it came for new music, new news, Two Dope Boys.
Well, that just means that you liked R&B as well as rap.
Oh, yeah. I was a big R&B fan. I'll be my bad. I'll be my bad. Trust me. Yo.
We get in our R&B back.
Big Tinashe fan.
And AK, real talk, AK actually has a really dope playlist series called the 47 series.
That's what's up.
Because AK was talking about school. AK just came back home. He was actually out in DC going to Howard, where he launched that. And I actually have a new playlist coming out soon. I'm dropping that this week. This is the one I showed you last time on the show.
I know what you're talking about.
It's called SIMP, acronym for She's Into Me Player.
Oh shit.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
And as we continue going, you know, also want to touch on the fact that, again, it's media today and rap. It seems like a controversial topic because it's like you have folks that are doing it for any particular reason. Some are just trolling. Some are just going for the reaction. We talk about pages that report on things that maybe you should report about. And then you have some outlets that are just more focused on, let's just give our honest opinion, let's just tell the truth. How do you guys describe yourself in terms of what you're able to do in the ever-growing world of hip-hop media? And what are your thoughts on it as a whole right now in 2019?
I would say that we're not journalists.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, like, you know, like, that's the thing. I don't think that anybody's really, like... Journalism and hip-hop have never been, like, the forefront. Like, it's not like there's a lot of, like, rap journalists. There's a few who, like, will ask tough questions and do actual, like, research and stuff. But for the most part, it's like, you know, it's the same thing. It's there's never been good rap, like, journalists. There's been good rap writers. I'll speak about myself. I'm not going to speak about anybody else, but, like, I was going to concerts, and I was reviewing concerts, and I would go to, like, live events. And there was a time when I went up to... There was an event at 4040. And I was being paid as a writer to go to this event. And I ran into Dayswan Thomas, who is the editor-in-chief of Vibe. And I was like, yo, like, you know, I'm just, like, doing, like, a write-around. I like to write all this stuff. And he was like, you're not going to talk to anybody? I was like, oh, do I have to do that? So it's like, I'm not a journalist. I've never been a journalist. Never asked tough questions.
Didn't go to journalism school.
No, none of that.
Yeah. And so for us, by the way, I would characterize us as conversationalists. You're coming over to our, like, specifically with the like, you have to think about our whole career too. Like if you were to, I think if anyone were to look at us and say, like, okay, did sketches, did music, did, like, you know, early podcasts, sold TV show, did these funny interviews on MTV, and then, like, those guys are journalists? Like, I wouldn't say that. Like, I would be like, okay, tracking, and they're sitting at home having a conversation around, you know, their kitchen table. That's what we do. And so when we had, honestly, like, Jeff and I talk about this all the time. When we had people come over and they tell us something that's part of their story, we're not going to be like, hold on, like, did that really happen or did that not happen? And, like, dig deeper in that sense. We're just trying to hear your story. We're just trying to hear where you came from. And maybe someone tells us, like, their version of a story, and later someone's like, well, that wasn't true. Well, that's not, like, for us to dig into.
Yeah, but even, like, you know, if you look at, like, the Mogul podcast, rest in peace to Combat Jack, but, like, there are people who were on there, and, you know, we were there when we were at somebody's office, and they heard an episode of that podcast. And the person who we were with was like, that's not how it happened at all. So, like, it's not like anybody, you know, like, anybody has, like, their version of the truth. Do I think that, like, everyday struggle is journalism now? No, I think that that's like an entertainment show. I think that everything is an entertainment show.
Right. DJ Vlad is not a journalist.
Definitely.
You know,
The reason why I say that,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off,
No,
is because of the fact that I think just in general, anything where folks can talk, and whether it's through interviews, conversations, or whatnot, is being classified under media. And there's something to where, even if, let's say for you guys, your purpose is, again, you guys are conversationalists, just we're walking people in. People will still go and be like, you guys are still media, and they'll try to hold you to obligation. I think for me, it's always been different because I come from, I guess, the quote-unquote traditional journalism background with what I've done with sports writing and how I followed that, and I kind of had to stuck to the rules and the rights of that, and what I do to stick with it, having my own career, to where when I go into what I feel like is rap media, I guess besides looking at it as a fan, I'm also looking at it as media, and I go, I don't like how you spun that there. I don't like what you're reporting and talking about. You should have asked this. You should have done that. So I think that's why I had to ask.
No, totally.
I
and we don't take offense or anything. Like, but I do think that it's interesting how there is no like line anymore. You know, it's like people will obviously use our platform that we've created to push their product, and like we don't mind that. That's fine. You're coming up here. There's a purpose. We have listeners, that's cool, and you want to promote your stuff to them, totally get that. But for us, it's not the same like we were working at MTV News, or it's not like we were working for like ABC or CBS or NBC or whoever, you know? And I think for what we do, I'm glad that people get something out of it and are able to look at it as history. Like when we did the Rockefeller thing in Highline, thank you.
That's two.
But we had something where it was like, oh, this is forever. You know, we've created an oral history of this thing according to the people who were there, and people can go back and listen to that for years and years and years to come. So that's what we try to do on a weekly basis, whether you're very famous, whether you're a friend of ours, or whether you're coming up to promote, you know, your new mixtape. Like it's a time where we're like, who are you as a person? Your life and your existence matters, and we're going to dignify that in an hour and a half.
I just want to, I'm sorry, but like just to like, you know, touch on the actual like idea of like media in 2019. It's just that like there's probably it's the same amount of good questions, but it's that there's thousands more microphones. So like it's that everybody is able to ask questions, and about 90% of them are dumb, 10% of them are good, and that's where we're at right now.
And everybody's trying to like fit in, right? Yeah. Like everybody has a podcast, and we're so like for that. We think everyone should have it. It's a low-hanging fruit. Everyone has their own laptop in front of them. Everyone has the programming software in there. Everyone has microphones, and that's dope. And you should put yourself out there. You should get a listenership, and you should keep going. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of that. I do think that people should try to find their lane. And for us, our lane is exactly what we described, right? We do that on a weekly basis, sometimes more. But we're not the same as a Rap Radar podcast. We're not the same as a Joe Budden podcast. We're not the same as a Drink Champs podcast. And I think they all have their own merits. And so we don't, try to compete with them for guests. We don't try to compete with them for like the gotcha questions. It's just, we sort of like
viral moment.
None of that.
Well, and I also should clarify my last thing, which is that I mostly consider most of my questions in that 90% of bad questions. No, and I mean that honestly, because like I'm asking people, they'll say like I used to work at the Gap, and I'll be like, were you a good folder?
I love
that's not a good question.
To be honest with you, I think that's fair because based on who it is, I might be like, you know what. I can see why you're not doing I couldn't fold these things. So I'm like, I appreciate that. I was like, let me actually rewind that back. But clarification.
I was thinking that today because I went to Duane Reade or Walgreens now, and so have you guys you work in retail?
Yeah, I work in retail. Yeah.
Okay, what is the best job within a retail store? Is it the person behind the counter, or is it the person who's like off in the corner like doing their own thing, or like what? What is the best job that you could possibly have?
For me, so I work on the sales floor. So when I first started to do like cashier training. So the thing about cashier training, if you're trying to like do work and like be done with it quick, cashier is like you honestly don't be noticing the time a lot. But for me, what I'm supposed to say, I think being on the sales floor, only when it's like, 'cause aside from like holiday season, when you're on the sales floor, it's pretty much like the best job. Because a lot of times, it's pretty slow, especially when it's at closing time. You're pretty much done before the store even closes, like cleaning up your area, all that stuff. And like, you can, if your boss is not a dickhead, you can really just move around in a little corner, go downstairs to the stock room. Shop for what you want down there, and it's pretty quick and easy. So I think the sales floor.
So we'd never worked really in retail. Like we worked at a day camp, we worked in the after school rec center. Like that's what we did growing up, right? With that said, I would think that like being a manager, not a great job, and also being a stockroom guy, like not a great job. So maybe it is.
I feel like stockroom guys probably have like a lot of fun though.
I bet it's boring.
No, I'm gonna
take y'all back in time.
Let's go.
Boom. Post high school, 2011. Take Care just came out. Changed my life. I remember I didn't go to college right away, so clearly I'm in panic mode because I'm like, as all my friends are in college, I need to get something going with my life. And I remember one of my homeboys was like, "Yo, Arden, you need to go by Banana Republic." They're like, hiring. This is at the Banana Republic in White Plains at the Westchester Mall.
Yeah. So, shouts to all them. Shouts to all my people at the Banana Republic.
Folding up them jeans.
First floor of the Westchester Mall.
So I remember I applied. I got the job and I was stock support. And I remember it was like 4 days a week where I had to work from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it's complete trash.
Yeah, I can't.
You go into the store, there's so many unopened boxes. You gotta fold them, you gotta clip them, you gotta put them where they gotta be. And it was just terrible. Not to mention, that's the same job. Bum-ass Banana Republic. They tried to accuse your boy, the Don, of stealing from there.
Okay, follow-up question.
Yes.
Were you stealing from there?
No. Because here's what happened.
That's journalism.
That's what I'm talking about. The hard-hitting question. So, I had bought a pea coat from Burlington Coat Factory.
You bought it.
Yes.
Yes.
So, it was at the time, it was at the Walmart that was on Main Street. Right? Yep. So, I had bought
right by
this
the Five
coat.
Guys.
Yep. Yeah. So I bought it.
You have no idea.
So I bought it, and I'm leaving after my shift, but the buzzer or whatever keeps going off. So I know I didn't do nothing, so I keep looking back like, yo, why is it going off? I walk back out, and I walk back in. So they're like, do you have anything on you? I'm like, no, look at my coat, look at everything. So the next time I go to work, I get interviewed by some big dude in the back in some interrogation room. And they have the audacity, despite my A1 work, to not bring me back for seasonal. It was seasonal, by the way. And you know what's so funny? I go and check the coat weeks later, finds out the Burlington Coat Factory employee that checked me out back in November 2011 forgot to take the damn clip off. The little attachment clip. She forgot to take it off despite the fact I paid for it.
That's fucked up.
She set me up.
Did she forget? Or was she really trying to like fuck up your life?
You know what? You're right. Hashtag God's plan.
Yeah. Wow, you really do love Drake.
Yeah, Drake did change your life.
When you were listening to Take Care, were you going through it because you hated your job, or were you going through it because you were listening to Take Care?
A mix of both. And I was 18.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We was listening.
You were
hitting like
an
the
emotional breakdown.
We listened to that record. Listened to that record. I remember one shift in particular. We're in the back. Folding clothes,
crying,
it.
Yeah.
I might have been early.
Drinking wine.
And me and my homeboy, we're just folding, and Underground Kings come on.
Yeah.
You hear that bridge under troubled water, ice in my muddy water. Woo! Fresh out of mixtape.
Yeah.
That's out of mixtape. Yeah, that's always been my life. Shout out to Jersey. Since room for improvement.
I love how you came back into like you were like, oh right, I remember where I am now.
Man, it's funny too.
Well, he sees me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. He does like a lot, but one thing I wanted to ask you guys is like, we're from like two different worlds. I want to talk about like the two Jews and the two Black Guys podcast.
Yeah.
So like you guys, Sheiks, South P, y'all both come from like very different worlds. Like, how are y'all able like to get together and be like, hey yo, let's talk shit about some movies right now?
Yeah.
Like, how are y'all able like to come to that and be like, yo, this is definitely gonna work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that there was that much thought put into it, where it was like we all like came together and we were just like, oh, you want to know what? Like this would be a great idea. It was that Jada, Styles, and Sheik all came over to our apartment to do an interview, and Jada and Styles were like rolling off edibles, but Styles was a functional edible eater. I don't know I don't know what you call it, but he was fully functioning is what I'm trying to say. Jada, however, fell asleep on the table, like would like wake up every once in a while, start singing New Edition songs. Like he was like out of it. He was like zooting. He was gone. And so in the middle of this, like Styles is walking around our apartment. He's looking at different books. There's a Big Lebowski book, and he's like, "Oh, you fuck with that movie?" And Eric's like, "It's my favorite movie." And so then it starts this conversation about like movies. And again, Jadakiss is asleep, and so Styles is like talking. Like they start yelling about the color purple, and at a certain point, Eric goes,
I was just like, you guys should have your own podcast and you should do movies and just go with it. And Styles was like, no, we should have one and we'll call it Two Jews and Two Black Dudes Review the Movies. And we're like, all right.
Yeah.
We're like, all right. And then, and
it's all on the microphone. Like, it's just like in the episode.
But the real genius of it is the follow through, right? Mm-hmm. So Jeff, when we were doing this thing that we do during the 12 days leading up to Christmas, the 12 days of podcasts, where we just flood the market at the end of the year, Jeff was like, hey, one of those episodes should be like
that
us.
counts as 12, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
Jeff should
14 now.
Jeff was like, let's go up to Yonkers and do an episode with the guys. And so they were like, we're with it. And that just opened up the floodgates. And then it got such a great reaction that we kept it going. And we're like, and we knew something was good too. We're like, this just feels natural. This is 4 guys with different opinions and all a great sense of humor in different ways. And we can sit there and have a great conversation that goes in every direction,
except for about the movie. Like,
right?
We barely talk about the movie.
But
it's talk about.
But it's great though, and then it turned into this thing where we go up there regularly and watch the movie with the guys. Like it really is sitting there, taking in the movie, and then talking about everything. Yes. And then you put it out, and the world loves it. And when we went down to Atlanta, and people got off the plane, and people were just like, "Oh my God, 2 Jews and 2 Black Dudes review the movies," and it was just like, "Oh, this is further than we even thought this could go." And so now we're continuing it, and we got some good stuff coming up, and we watched the most far out movies that you can think of, Coco, and
You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail,
and it's almost like this like bizarre acid trip where you're like, I can't, like I will look over during the movie and I'll be like, I cannot believe I'm watching You've Got Mail with the locks.
Yeah. But we watch Trading Places, but we also watch Home Alone, and it's just like, and so what's nice is
it is nice that Jadakiss is part of it as well. Like he didn't just like fall asleep and then fall off the face of the earth.
Right.
Like, Jada like walks in, Jada's the most excited about it more than anybody, and he's not even officially a part of it.
But if you were going to tell us back in high school, yo, the guys you're listening to on the radio on Hot 97 right now, or if those guys who were on the bus, in the middle school bus, and you're listening to the bus driver playing Down Bottom, and you're like, yo, that camp, you're going to be like good friends with them, that you're going to like text them all the time, that you're going to go and watch movies with them at the studio, we would have been like, you're absolutely out of your mind. In no world.
In no world, that makes sense.
But what's nice is like, listen, I'll tell you straight up. Like we've been nothing but just good in the city. We've been good in the community. We've been good, I think, to the culture, and all of that comes around where it's like, yeah, like people want to be friends with good people, and so that's the natural thing right there. That we can do entertainment on top of that is just like a blessing.
Absolutely, man, and I think it's just really dope as well because, side note, when it comes to Jada, back where I live, I've actually ran into Jada a few times because we worked out at the same gym.
Yeah.
And then
how many ellipticals do they have at that gym?
It's about 20. It's well worth the price. So with Jada, it was like I remember seeing him because again, like when I grew up in Yonkers, like I grew up in Slow Bombs Projects, so basically like their neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal to see these guys around,
and
then along with DMX and at the time, and I remember talking to him, introducing myself to him, and we're talking. He goes, and I mentioned I was from Yonkers. He goes like, He's like, yeah, where you from? And I was like, yeah, man, I grew up in Slogans Projects. I was like, you know, building 6, door number 616. He go, oh, he's from there. He's talking to me like, yo, know one of your aunties or whatever? And I'm like, yo, I probably don't know. But side note with Jada, before we change topics, I said it on the show a couple weeks ago. There's this YouTube channel I discovered that had like these classic Hot 97 interviews.
Oh my god!
And these classic interviews, and this was at the time where the Lobs was battling with Diddy over like the contract. And just like you said, with like Styles being the clear-minded one, Styles is like focused, talking to Flex, and Jada's going. And he goes, nothing can stop a double steel two-door joint from flying off the skyscraper. We just want to get out of our contracts, B. Just get us out. Nothing can stop a double-door steel joint with the barrels on it.
So, okay, these guys are legends, right? They've said legendary things. They've done legendary things. To experience it both on the mic and off mic, to hear their stories is the greatest thing in the world. And that's from the perspective of them now, like, as juice salesmen, you know, and as like adults with kids and everything. But they'll sometimes get into it, and like Sheik especially will just be like, he gives no fucks. He'll just be like, yo, this is what happened. This is the wildness that we did, and the other guys are just like, what are we talking about right now? So it's crazy.
And just as we go forward, because this topic right here that I'm about to introduce is kind of generating that same kind of reaction. Again, guys, we're recording this on Thursday, January 24th. On Wednesday night, J. Cole released a new record called Middle Child that from a couple days ago just has been highly anticipated. A lot of people have been looking forward to it. And I'm just going to go into it because I've been holding my thoughts in besides the initial tweet I had from last night. I think if you're anybody that's on either side of the spectrum, yo, this is trash or this is mid, making a play off of Middle Child and saying it's mid, so it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, I'm going to say, you're bugging. I think Middle Child, in my opinion, is just a very cool record. I think it's a cool record. And side note, too, let me say, it was great to hear T-Mine's production. Me and you spoke about it before the show. It's been a minute since we heard T-Mine. It's been a minute. So it was just great to hear that.
Your OVO brother.
Yeah, that's right. Take it back in time. Yes. I remember them. But I honestly feel like, before I pass it to you guys, that Middle Child to me sounds like a continuation of Cole's efforts from KOD. And it also sounds like Cole is once again aware of the scene. He's aware of the competition. And I've been saying for a good minute, I think my man's ready to dance. He's ready to step in that ring. He's ready to take a head off.
I mean, he says he's the best.
He's ready to do that.
Like, I mean, with me, because like, when I'm listening to that shit, right, the thing that really stands out the most, aside from like, you know, the bars, obviously, the fact that, you know, he's releasing right now. I think clearly he's gonna drop another album soon. Of course. You got Dreamville, the whole Resident Dream Street coming out soon.
Crazy 11.
Then you got the fact that he's supposed to do Dreamville Fest last year. Certain situation postponed, coming back again this year. The Fallout coming out. So it's like right now, I feel this year he's really setting it up. I think the sessions were kind of like hinting towards it, but I think like this track was like, I bet this is the starting point. You about to get into it. This Dreamville's year, let's get to it. And that was really like stands out to me. Don't you have him as a label head? He's like, yo.
Yeah. He said, I'm stepping aside. I'm stepping up. But what was also different about this record for me was I've caught on to the fact that for Cole, he usually comes out with these grand statement records at the end of the year, beginning of the year. So we go as far as back as Fire Squad, Everybody Dies, False Prophets, Album of the Year Freestyle. So I remember thinking, I'm seeing Middle Child, I'm seeing the thing he's posting. I'm like, yo, he's about to go off. And I think this is his version of going off, but in a more chill way. Because you just sense it. I'm sensing it. He's ready to dance. And he also knows, like, and it's funny, too, because I saw somebody tweet this earlier. And they said, in a way, Cole could make a play with the fact that between him, Drake, and Kendrick, he's considered the middle child. Because a lot of times, outside of the diehard Cole fans, it's either Drake or Kenny in most people's top three that go number one or number three. And a lot of people put him at two.
I don't know, there's that too. The fact that he gets disrespected the most out of everybody.
Crazy.
J. Cole, like, even, it became a running joke to say, you know, J. Cole went platinum with no features. But that's still like, how many people can you say like really did that before? You know what I mean? not only that, the fact that J. Cole is boring, J. Cole is like he's really getting the most disrespect. Like the person that gets disrespected the most is the middle child. Nobody cares about the middle child. It feels, so I get that too.
Yeah. Well, and so you guys know who Shea Serrano is?
Yes.
Yeah, so Shea Serrano, for anyone listening who doesn't know, is a best-selling author, and
I love his books.
Yeah, he's written for Grantland, and he's written for The Ringer.
One of the best
and,
followers on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yes.
and hilarious. A lot of his early sort of internet activity was shitting on J. Cole, and there's no real good reason on it. Yeah. He's just being like,
he's just been doing it.
He's just like, I don't like him. He's boring, and like we'll go into that and speak on it in a million tweets and write articles about it and go see him live and be like, cool, I'm glad he makes this whole stadium rock, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
And like, if I'm J. Cole, I mean, if I'm me, like, we're not perfect humans, right? We can preach all day and just be like, yo, don't pay attention to the noise. And people just talk and like they don't mean it. When they come up to you, they're not going to do anything. People talk out of the side of their mouth and they will never do something to your face, right?
Yeah.
But you still look at those comments and you still search someone just to like give you that like extra just like juice. I do wonder if J. Cole hears the noise from the small people, but also from someone who is a 2-time New York Times best-selling author who's just like, J. Cole sucks. It's like, damn. Like,
I can't get
so far he does.
And
he's been paying very close attention.
But Cole does. Cole pays attention.
Yeah.
Jay-Z pays attention. All these guys are online.
Yeah.
Puff pays attention. They're all
Cole
active.
was a blog nerd. Like, 100%. And so, yes, I do think that he absolutely, like, as much as he doesn't put out much on social media, I think he absolutely like, takes it all in.
And by the way, if you're J. Cole and you have done everything,
damn Skippy,
like that's I know it's a joke, but it's like, but it's true.
It's
yeah,
true.
Yo, I did it without any features,
like nobody
multiple
else
times.
Nobody else can say that shit about
I
themselves.
do this without much promo, multiple times.
Right? I sold out arenas around this country.
I'm one of the very few that outsold Kanye in the first week. Remember, he did that with
Yeah.
Center against Yeezy.
And remember his whole career. He sat outside of Baseline until Jay showed up.
Yeah.
He would wait for him at Rock the Mic. He would like beg him to listen to the tape and like to the CD. And like you have to deal with the ups and downs. And he's the biggest guy right now and doesn't act like it. Well, why not act like it? Have some fun with it. Like I'm not mad at this record one bit.
I'm really looking forward to like everything that's coming up. I think that like even like the Dreamville like Revenge of the Dreamers, like everything that's coming up, like I'm super excited for that. All the invitations that came out. Eric put up a tweet that was like, I'm so excited for every single person that gets an invite.
Yeah.
And like I feel that way too. Like it's just like I'm very excited for J. Cole to make this run.
Yeah, and by the way, J. Cole doesn't get the respect. He is beloved by all these fans who are going to... And look what he's done. He's done everything, honestly, perfectly. Yeah. Perfectly. He did the Dollar in the Dream thing, right? Like, for the fans, right? Like, he built up a fan base that is willing to spend money on all the Dreamville clothing, all the Dreamville artists. He's signed all these kids who are just, like, super dope, and the fans support that.
Exactly.
And then they'll go to Staples Center and they'll go to Madison Square Garden and they'll sell it out time and time again. And you're putting out dope music that has a message and actually like you're not a sucker for any of that. Why not talk your shit? Like do it. Like and you don't get the same respect as a Kendrick or a Drake. Well, and he's not, and he's cool with both of them too.
Yeah.
That's
so it's not like
bars.
just like. And like, by the way, I'm happy that he threw shots at Kanye. Like do that.
Yeah, I saw.
And on the low, I'm not gonna spoil our final topic with a few minutes left, but I'm gonna save that name.
Okay, I just want to say because
I didn't think it was about that, but okay, all right.
I'm about to reach. I'm about to reach. But me, because I know you were like used to do the videography for like and stuff like that.
I was his videographer. Yeah.
So like with that, like seeing all this BS he's been doing recently,
Hate it. Can't stand it. Love everybody from the original team, but like can't stand where he's at.
He's at right now.
And I can't figure out any reason for it.
But also like not that you've had contact with Kanye and
no.
Yeah.
If I did, I wish I would say something. So yeah.
Thank you, good sir. So final topic with a few minutes left. Let me just go into it. I was enjoying my day yesterday once again, working with these kids, getting ready for another day of coaching, and I come across Twitter. and I see Pusha Thanos tweet, and he goes to the effect of, "I heard you want to try again.
Let me find this one.
If you try again, I'm gonna go for all you and everything." And I ain't gonna front the OVO. They call me OVO flag. We get back home.
I see it. I see it.
A whole bunch of 666 ones again. But
see a lot of stickers.
I tried to deny it because I was like, yo, I ain't even quote tweet. I was like, yo, damn, this is a bar. Like, this is a bar. But I'm just saying.
Pusha is speaking to you.
Yeah. But I'm saying, please, anybody in the OVO camp, let's not do this again. We moved on. I've already publicly had to shame Drake. I already had to publicly give Pusha the dub. I don't want to do this no more. I want to live my life peacefully and not go through this again. But in all seriousness, though, besides the obvious answer, I guess, in Drake, who else could Pusha be maybe talking about here? Because honestly, it seems like
it's only Drake. I mean, I can say maybe like somebody in the Cash Money camp, but
who?
I mean, I think like Bearman, but I don't really think it's gonna be Bearman though, because I was going by like past like beefs and stuff like that, no past rumors.
Well, I mean, but it has to be a past beef, right? Because it's somebody who has tried again.
Yeah, so I
just hope, please.
It gotta be Drake, fam. It gotta be Drake.
Can I ask you a question? You have all these stickers for OVO on your computer,
and I got some game creature stuff. Like,
yeah.
OVO stuff. Yeah, you're right.
Did you buy this computer because it's called Lenovo?
Oh, snap!
I saw that too. Yeah.
I got this from my extended family.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the stickers I just got.
Your extended family, the OVO family.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the best job at the OVO store?
You gotta go. Somebody, I got these stickers from the OVO store, the one down near Bond Street.
Yeah.
I just went there. And I always like to pay my respects to her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Home quarters. You know?
Yeah. You didn't even know.
You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, but back to the topic at hand. Yes, who is he talking about? I mean, it has to be Drake. I can't see any other person that it would be about unless it was like.
But if you're Drake,
me,
why? And let's say like Pusha was like hearing rumors, and by the way, they hear everything. Like they know everything.
They know a lot more than us.
So for sure. Yeah. So what if he is hearing that and he's like, oh, you know, Drake's starting to like run his mouth again. Like if you're Drake, why?
Well, but I also feel like it could be Pusha's talking to Drake, but Drake might not even be doing that.
Oh.
Like Pusha just might be like starting some shit and being like, "Oh, I heard you want to talk."
That's possible too.
Yeah.
Because with the various interviews that Pusha's done, along with the way he is, I said months ago that for one, I believe the truth is in the middle between both men. And in my opinion, I feel like for a while Pusha won, I think deep down inside Pusha is dissatisfied with how he won.
You know what? I bet you're right.
That's honestly how I feel about it.
Did you find yourself? So it was like maybe a Friday night and the HBO thing happened, right, with Drake on the LeBron thing, right? Yeah. And he's just like, ooh, like all in on that. And then you listen to the Joe Budden podcast, like with Pusha.
I was like, damn. But what's funny was Joe touched on it even in July.
Yeah.
For breaking down Scorpion. But I always thought of it because I'm like, all right, I think it's in the middle. So I'm like, it's in the middle.
Yeah.
but yeah, Drake, don't do nothing stupid.
Don't do it. Yeah. I like Drake too, so I just like this. I'm always been a.
I mean, you only you like him somewhat, like
somewhat.
Yeah.
I've always been like more of a Pusha T fan because like but yeah, I don't want that to happen to him again. It was a tough summer, like honestly, because I remember every time when that shit happened, and I'm thinking about like the Drake Meek Mill stuff and all that stuff. I'm like, even with that when that first happened, I'm like, yo. Meek Mill got this, he's a battle rapper, he got this, and then shit flipped on to some old shit.
Right.
So now I'm thinking like, yo, this might be a good battle. Drake might have something.
I'm so tired about
yeah, by the way, I know you guys are all like, oh, like I hope that Drake doesn't do it. I hope that I fucking hope he does do it. Like I live for the mess. Like,
thank you. I agree. Because I'm okay the same way too. At the same time, I'm just like, yo, if any beef happens,
like
I'll
be real mature right now and be like, but I guarantee a track drops and I will 100% be jumping off the subway and being like listening to it on the street like we did last time. Eric and I left a dinner last time. Whenever the first track dropped.
No. It was it was Adidon.
Oh yeah,
because we were in the middle of the street listening on Jeff's phone, just like couldn't compute.
And we were just like, oh my god, every single line. We were just like, this is that.
Avoiding traffic, by the way. Just
like on like the double yellow line. I am so ready for another round of this. Like, talk about the craziness that went on last time. Now you have fucking what's his face? The guy from. It's almost like I don't want to say his name, like it's like Voldemort, but the guy who found Drake. Jay Prince. Like, there's that whole craziness. Like, there's so much. Like, Kanye being like an albatross in all of this because Kanye is an insane person. Like, let's go again. Let's make 2019 a year to remember. 2020, the world's gonna end because fucking like our politicians. And so let's make this a year to remember. I'm totally down for it. Let's go.
And I'm gonna be in the back like.
I'm just gonna sit there with my popcorn in hand, just watching the entire match. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna really enjoy myself. It's gonna be fun.
One of the participants, I'm just gonna simply say, don't link me.
Wow.
Don't hit my phone.
If it becomes a surgical summer, it becomes a surgical summer.
Wait, so you don't think that Drake would even have like a shot in this?
The reason why I don't, before we wrap this up, is because the best comparison I have is I think Drake is a world-class fighter. I think Drake fights great when it's a world-class fight. Mm-hmm. Against Pusha, realized Drake has no business fighting in the street.
Street fighting,
where it's a no-holds-barred match. Mm-hmm. Pusha makes it a no-holds-barred match because to his credit, he knows you out-rapping Drake, it's not going to matter. Right. Mm-hmm. If we talk lyrically, folks, if we're being honest, knows Duck Beat's more lyrical than Adidon. Mm-hmm. You're not going to out-hit Drake. But if you want to go for shot value, like Drake did with back-to-back, that is your way to go.
So you're saying this is like Holyfield versus Tyson?
No, this is like Holyfield versus like one of the guys like I don't know with a bat. You know,
I'll do this for my brother Wills because Wills and I are big wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. You'll take The Rock versus Mankind in the ring, but if you put them in a backyard brawl, Mankind's probably gonna do so. But hey, this was episode 70 of the Foresight Podcast with It's the Real. Thank you guys for coming along.
Thank you guys for having us.
Westchester, we did it.
Yeah, 914, we still got our numbers.
Let the people know what to expect from you guys, where to find you, things of that nature.
You can find us in Portchester by the Costco.
The
old Caldor, the Rock Bottom.
At the Galleria.
You can
find
Boston Post Road.
You can find us in New Rock City. There's a lot of knife fights there. Where can you find us? You can find us on Twitter at ItsTheReal, Facebook at ItsTheReal, Instagram at ItsTheReal. All of our old episodes and all of our new ones are on iTunes and any place where you listen to the podcast.
Actually, Spotify or SoundCloud or wherever it exists.
Castbox.
Whatever
I didn't know
what
Castbox was. People love Castbox.
But YouTube us. Find us on any streaming service. We're out there. There's more than a decade's worth of content out there. You'll be surprised. And it's still dope. So sketches and music and live shows and merch and all the good stuff that's coming up in 2019 and beyond. And we just appreciate you guys thinking of us.
Totally. AK, incredible job as my co-host today, being an incredible B-Mike. Final shout out, I almost forgot. I want to shout out my guy Russ and M. from Raps and Receipts. Russ had a great event called A Deep Cut, in which for 3 hours he had an incredible Kendrick Lamar playlist playing and really just influencing the vibes on Tuesday night, I believe, in Dub P at the Freebirds. I want to shout out to Russ. And a lot of people show love to the podcast. As soon as I said, hey, I'm Arden from Foresight, they said, oh, you're Foresight? Like, yo, you guys are dope. So I want to shout out everybody there, man. And once again, free the boys up top, free the boys down low. You already know how we rocking, man. Talk to you guys next time.